We see in this clip that yes, guys, yes, it's confirmed. Invisible Woman can indeed go invisible. We see her do it in this trailer, but there's no direct move I noticed for it. I think it actually relates to her passive, and maybe after she walks a certain amount of time, maybe the invisibility procs. What do you guys think? Comment down below. Let's get a discussion going. Invisible Woman can also push and pull enemies, make the entire team invisible, which will pair extremely well with pure chaos. And Mr. Fantastic is straight up making enemies Keith against their will, with some very solid CC afterwards. We got 2 new characters to start off season 1 of Marvel Rivals, and we found some amazing stuff with their kit. Will it be broken on day 1? I want to know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments down below. Let's start off with Susan Storm, whose trailer dropped this morning. I know a lot of you guys are having trouble focusing on the gameplay. Reasons are valid. But don't worry, I got you all covered. She's got a lot going on in her kit. Being a strategist, she is a healer and can invoke a lot of CC on enemies. Her primary basic attack is a projectile that does seem to hit twice. She has 10 rounds in a clip before reloading, so if you're pretty accurate enough and close enough, you can actually hit the enemy almost 20 times since they double up on hit. Almost every character in this game deals very solid damage all across the board, across all classes really. Invisible Woman's damage potential seems to be on that same scale, but what's most valuable in her kit are her pushes and pulls and overall making your team elusive. And of course, survivability with her shields. And her primary attack, of course, appears to heal teammates, and seeing as how it passes through them, you can see in this clip sometimes it actually heals a teammate and damages enemies on the return. Now, I wonder now, does it heal twice on the pass-through in the same way that it damages twice on enemies? Susan can also right-click on teammates to put a shield there that does have a health bar in front of them that appears to be stationary, and the teammate has to position themselves in front of it in order to protect themselves. Its health of the shield looks to be about 300 HP, and if Susan presses F, she could actually return the shield back to her. I wonder if this has a general effect on her passive or benefits her to her character kit, if you do return the shield back to her, of course. Now with her E, she could actually choose to push or pull enemies with the left click to push and the right click to pull. We see in the Captain America clip, she pushes him hilariously off the stage, and against Namor, she actually pulls him in. Both options will be extremely great depending on the situation, but what I really want to know is whether or not this push or pull can activate on more than one character. Like, can this push an entire enemy team back or pull them? That'd be so insane in team fights. So far in all this footage, we see it being used in 1v1 encounters. I do worry that it's only usable on one character, and probably depending on who is closest to you or more towards the front of that group, will be getting the effect hit on them. We see her use the push against Iron Man and the Hawkeye in this clip, but the angle is kind of hard to tell. It definitely does push back the Iron Man, but the Hawkeye is really far back and kind of blocked up, so I can't really tell if he's getting affected by it. But he does take damage. However, it's hard to see if he flies back with the others in the way. What do you guys think? Susan also has a double jump with a unique twist on the landing. To be honest, it might even be a triple jump. If you slow down the clip here, you can see she has a small hop before she goes into the double jump, but it's great for 1v1 encounters, and she can jump away from enemies, and on landing, she pushes them back. We see her do this with Thor in this clip, but I do wonder if she can do this while jumping forward as well. So imagine if you jump in with her to push the enemies back, then you can launch the E to either push them back or pull them. She's going to be ragdolling a lot of people. I can't wait to do that. Her left shift, which is called Force Burst, she's going to throw out a gravity bomb that's going to slow and pull enemies back towards the center of the ring, while also damaging enemies over time with rapid hits. In groups, this is going to be devastating to launch out and quite possibly, finally, help out my Thor ults to consistently land on enemies. And finally, her ultimate attack is a huge AoE heal radius that she can place on the ground. It doesn't look as powerful healing wise compared to Luna Snow and Mantis's ultimate, which those are very mobile as well as being attached to the character. Susan has to place it on the ground and it stays there. But the best part about this is it makes the entire team inside of the area appear to be invisible to the enemies that are on the outside, which is a great trade-off because she can help to continue heal the teammates now that they're invisible and within the force field, and they can't be really seen from the outside. It's also been mentioned that she can slow the enemies that are also within this force field, and if enemies try to enter from outside, they get slowed as well. The Iron Man is still able to land some hits, you can see, so the enemies still have a chance to hit and KO people from the outside. It's just kind of hard to see where they are. You got to make a guess. So in team fights, capping points and stuff, this is going to be incredibly hectic and scary for enemy healers and long-range DPS to really focus down people. Not to mention, as I said before, this is a great combo tool for a lot of characters' ultimates. Scarlet Witch is the first one that comes to mind. Of course, she's very loud and gives away position very easily at this point in the game's meta. most people just direct their attention to her when they hear her coming out of nowhere. But being invisible will definitely make the ult more consistent, I think, especially in big team fights. What other ultimates and combos can you guys think of that'll go well with this? Let me know in the comments below. Susan Storm looks really fantastic. I can't wait to play her. I actually just recently started picking up strategists and adding them to my kit. Having a lot of fun playing as Mantis, but I think Susan I'm definitely going to be giving a try on day one. Now we got the smartest man alive, Mr. Fantastic, and his moveset to break down. But first, hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you guys don't miss out on any other updates and help raise that 38% even higher. We're going to be checking out live gameplay of both characters from other content creators later today, and I'm going to be posting the highlights and clips for you guys to enjoy. John Krasinski is not just a duelist, but he also has some solid tanking abilities that can help with any team comp in any situation. His primary melee attack has a great mid-range, obviously, him being a stretchy man, seemingly easy to land on enemies and swap through targets. His third melee hit appears to hit twice though, or it lingers out long enough to attack multiple enemies that are within range. As we see, he hits the Hela and Squirrel Girl simultaneously with both hits. But my favorite move has to be his right click. He can attach a limb to an enemy, and then you can left click it to attach to another enemy and force them to kiss, temporarily stunning them in the process, making them very vulnerable to incoming attacks. There's also an insane amount of utility in this. I can't see a situation where this won't be valuable, especially since it only has a 6-second cooldown. I've been waiting, guys. I've been waiting for a character that I can continuously grab enemies with and toss them up or stun them in that way. As a con main and paladins, I'm liking what I'm seeing so far from Mr. Fantastic. It only has a 6-second cooldown as well. I think that's insane. Think about it, constantly immobilizing two enemies back to back to back in team fights every 6 seconds is going to be incredibly frustrating and satisfying, because say you're on the third hit of the melee with Reed, you'll be able to hit them twice, multiple times actually. So using that to hit them and dealing big damage overall, I really like his kit so far. His left shift, Captain America mains are really gonna love this. You can eat incoming projectiles, even ultimates, and direct it back to the enemy. Their return hitbox looks smaller, so you do gotta be careful not to miss it and aim properly, but RIP Iron Man. It seems like in every trailer, whenever there's a character that can reflect an ult, this dude is always going to be made out to be the example. His E sees him able to grab teammates and enemies to get in close, and he applies a shield temporarily to himself, tank more incoming damage. We see his passive activate here, which anytime he lands a skill on an enemy, he has a bar underneath the cursor that will be increasing. And when that cursor reaches the max, he can then inflate, raising his overall health and defense. To temporarily tank incoming damage, dish out crazy punishment, but it seems that when his passive is active, he can't activate most of his skills. You notice that on the bottom right, it actually all gets redded out except for his ultimate attack, which is like what happens with Thor when he goes into his Thor Force mode. He has a team up attack with Susan Storm, but we don't see him use it, I don't think, in this trailer. I went back and forth. I couldn't really find anything on it, but it definitely looks like it applies a shield to him or a force field of some sort. But then finally, we have his ultimate attack, which he does get inspired by Bucky, going again and again. Up to 6 bounces, it looks like, dealing damage, being elusive, disrupting enemies, and I can see this being a nuisance in team fights. To draw attention, it doesn't really deal a whole lot of crazy damage, but the area effect is so great that it'll provide the perfect amount of chaos in any fight, really. He also gains some protection armor during this slightly. Overall, both of these characters are extremely valuable, I think, in any team comp, and of course will pair extremely well with each other. I wasn't expecting too much from Reed's gameplay, but I think surprisingly, he's actually going to be one of my mains. I like that he can deal crazy good damage, has good CC, and also is tanky. He has 350 HP, man. That's so good for a duelist. And that's it for the new characters so far, guys. By the time this uploads, we're all going to be watching the live gameplay from the other creators on Twitch. So be sure to tune in. I'm going to get those breakdowns and any wild clips we might see right here for you guys. Be sure to like the video if you enjoyed and subscribe if you are new. More Marvel Rivals content is on the way. Don't want to miss them. My name is BltzZ, and thanks for watching.